Thank you. Right. Hi, good afternoon. I don't understand. First of all, can I ask, are you acting under oath today, please? Police constable.
I've asked you a question. Do you have your licence on you? Could you please ask me a question?
A licence?
I can see you shaking, I can see you're very nervous, and I can see you taking the conversation.
That's correct.
I am asking you, do you have your licence on you today, please?
I don't have a licence on me today.
Right. Is the vehicle registered to you?
Am I obliged to answer that question?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's received, thank you. Right, what's your name?
Woolley.
Sorry?
Woolley.
Woolley. Right, you've committed an offence under the Road Traffic Act. How I deal with you is up to me. What you have done by committing an offence, you are legally obliged to provide me with your name and address.
Can I ask you what the difference between a law and a statute is, please? As defined by the Law Society.
Right. I'm not gonna play with you.
I'm not playing. I'm asking a question.
Right. You know why I've stopped you?
I don't.
Okay. Because you were doing excessive speed when I was behind you on the 64, and I followed you for some time. Okay. Now, I'm stopping you for words of advice.
Okay.
About this matter.
Okay.
All right. What I'm asking you to do is not start. What is the difference between this and that? I'm asking you for your name and address.
My name and address. And I understand that by law I'm not obliged to give this information across to you unless I've executed a criminal act.
You've committed an offence under the Road Traffic Act.
I believe there's a difference between law and statute.
If you fail to provide me with your name and address, I can, if I wish, if I deem it necessary, arrest you. Okay? Which path are you going to get at? I am asking you for your name and address.
I'm asking. So can we just clarify this? I want to understand.
Play it like that.
No, I want to understand what you're saying to me. I don't understand.
I'm asking you for your name and address. How hard is that?
Am I obliged to give you?
Yes.
So.
Right. I'm asking you for your name and address in order that I can check that you're the verified keeper of this vehicle. You've been seen committing a moving traffic offence with this vehicle, and therefore I'm asking you for your name and address.
We are under common law jurisdiction, yes?
Right, no problem.
First of all, I would like to ask whether or not that's a request or a request for information,
right.
or a...
I'll stop you there.
Certainly.
I'm not prepared to have a recorded interview with you if that's what you're doing. What we're doing is,
it's not
one of my colleagues, I'll explain to you rather than you asking me the questions, and then you can understand what's happening here.
Okay.
As I understand it, my colleague here has stopped you to speak to you about your excess speed on the A64.
Okay.
She says that you've been doing in excess of 100 miles an hour, okay?
Okay.
At this moment, all she's done is stopped you to give you words of advice about that, because that vehicle doesn't have a recording device which will allow us to prosecute you.
Okay.
If it did, then she would be carrying out the proceeding to prosecute you. However, she's not doing that. She stopped you to give you words of advice about that. Part of our check in when we stop and speak to a motorist is that we ascertain whose vehicle it is, and we ascertain whether that person is licensed to drive the vehicle and insured to drive the vehicle. Alright, so, in order to do that, we need to be able to, if you haven't got your driving licence with you, we need to be able to do various checks to make sure that that is the case. So we can ask you for your name and address and date of birth.
Can I first of all...
which we are doing. Are you not prepared to give us those details?
I'm speaking... Am I prepared to give you those details? I am prepared to give you those details, but there's a difference between being prepared to give and actually giving. As in, I have those details.
Right.
This is all about language, and it's very important.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, the Law Dictionary, the Black's Law Dictionary, is defined by the UK Law Society.
Right.
Defines a driver as someone who is employed to drive within commerce, which I'm not being paid to drive.
I'll stop you there, sir. Right.
Okay.
We're not talking about what Black says, we're talking about what the Road Traffic Act says.
Okay.
The Road Traffic Act says, at the moment, you are the driver of this vehicle, alright? As such, we can ask you to provide us with those details. If you refuse to do that, so that you don't give us sufficient detail that we can check your date of birth, and check that you have a licence, then we'll have no alternative other than to take you to the police station where we'll be able to try and verify those details. So it's quite straightforward. If this is your car...
It's not straightforward to me, officer. I'm not understanding
Is this your vehicle, sir? Is this your vehicle?
My understanding is that I'm not... Is that a right? Okay. Is that a request for information, or is it? Okay. Am I obliged to give that information?
Well, I would say in the circumstances, it is a request for information. However, certainly, I need to be satisfied that this isn't a stolen vehicle. So if we're going to start to go down that route, then what I'd say to you is, let's start again, right? Okay. It's a simple enough matter. If this is your car, right, all we need to know is that it is your car and who you are.
The car belongs to my family.
The car belongs to your family, right? That's a good start. Then we can ascertain whether you're on the insurance or not. Okay? So we can, if you give us your name and date of birth and address, then we can ascertain that from our check that we have. And then finally, we can check to see whether you have a driving licence or not.
May I ask, are you acting under oath today? Are you constable?
I am a traffic constable, yes.
A constable.
Yeah.
So, are you acting under your oath today?
When you say I'm acting under my oath, what do you mean by that?
When you become a constable, you declare an oath.
I do, yes, yeah.
And part of that is to uphold common law.
It is?
Yes. Under common law, I have the right to travel.
You have all those rights, and we're not infringing any of those rights. However, the Road Traffic Act says that when we stop to speak to a driver, they are obliged to give us details. Do you have your driving licence with you?
May I also ask, I do not have a driving licence with me.
Do you have a current driving licence then? Do you hold a driving licence?
I don't believe I'm obliged to answer that question.
Right. No, listen to me. Right, okay. The way this is going, I've tried to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it one more time.
Okay.
If you then do not cooperate with what we're doing, you'll leave us with an alternative.
I believe I am cooperating.
Well, you're not.
I must understand. Okay. Surely I must be allowed to understand what is actually going on here in this situation.
I'll try and explain it to you again in quite simple and straightforward terms. Okay?
Certainly.
Right. You are, as far as the Road Traffic Act goes, the driver of this vehicle that is stopped now here.
May I stop you? But are you aware of the differences defined by law between a statute and a law?
Right. I'm not going to talk about all that. The Road Traffic Act says, as far as that is concerned, you are the driver of this vehicle. Okay. You've just been driving it on the A64, right?
Certainly.
Okay, so you've...
No, not certainly. Driving is different. Driving is different.
So you're saying you weren't driving then? Who was driving the car?
I was operating the vehicle.
Operating the vehicle. All right, well... You were in this vehicle, behind the wheel, driving
the automobile, not the vehicle, the automobile. You see, it's all about language.
Okay. Have you got some issues? Do you have issues with language?
I'm a believer in the British Constitution.
Okay. I am. I swore my oath to the Queen.
Absolutely. And to uphold coroner and
I
believe you guys are doing a wonderful job, and I normally I stick to the rules of society.
Let me reassure you. We're not trying to catch you out. We're not trying to do anything underhand.
I don't believe you are as an individual.
We are simply doing what we do to every driver that we stop, which is to make sure. Right, if this is your car, you wouldn't want us to stop this vehicle with somebody else driving it who doesn't have any right to have it, who's stolen it, and then let them go, would you?
That's based upon the precautionary principle, which means that...
Well, it is a precautionary principle indeed.
Absolutely, which means that there hasn't been an offence committed, which may be many, in fact, argue is along the lines of the Gestapo.
Right, well, I don't believe in the Gestapo. I thought they were horrific. I don't liken myself to them, and nor do I have to get away. The simple matter is, you are the driver of this vehicle as far as the Road Traffic Act says. As such, as a police officer, I can ask you to provide me with your name and date of birth if you're unable to provide me with your driving license here and now. Okay?
Ask.
Well, I can require it of you. I can require it from you. Alright,
you can
if you
require...
fail to give me that, then we'll have no alternative but to arrest you and take you to the police station so that we can ascertain who you are.
Does require the right to travel unhindered?
You can travel unhindered, you can do that. At the moment though, you won't be able to travel any further unless you give us that information. So are you prepared to give me your name and date of birth so that we can verify your driving licence details in accordance with the Road Traffic Act?
Date of birth is hearsay according to law, because I wasn't there, and
your date of birth is recorded on your driving licence, and this is how we prove who you are. Hearsay or not,
I do have a driving licence. I'll give you my details of my driving licence.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Grab your pen quick, Zoe. This might be a once in a...
yeah. Obviously, I don't bear any grudge against police constables at all. In fact, I'm part of a movement, and we require you to understand the meaning of this movement and what's going on. And it is.
What's your name then?
My name is my name. I'm a human being.
Right.
My name. That's correct.
So what's your second name, your surname?
It's not a surname. I am of the family commonly known as... That's correct.
What is your date of birth on your driving licence?
The date of birth on the driving licence registered to...
Okay.
And I'll just do a deal.
And do you live at the address where this vehicle is registered? You said it's a family vehicle.
I do.
You do, you live there. Right, okay. Right, once we can verify these details, then we can let you get going.
Excellent.
Alright? So, it's actually quite simple.
Yeah, debatable.
Well, I think it is. Because it's something I do every day.
Certainly.
And mostly without question.
I also question the nature and the training that's provided to police and how it's changed over time, and the changes in the police constable's handbook, which have occurred since joining the European Economic Community, and there are a number of things that are going on that worry me. I've got to be honest.
Okay, well, momentarily we'll check your details and then hopefully you can get going. And most importantly, out of all these things, bear in mind what my colleague said about your speed.
Sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
because whichever way around you look at it, we want you to be safe on the road.
I want to be safe on the road. I'm not a suicidal...
to deal with those sorts of things.
Absolutely, you know.
Okay, so that's ultimately why we're here.
Big respect to the police for dealing with those situations. I appreciate that.
Well, I won't ask you if you're going home, because I normally make polite conversation with people, but you probably think it's some sort of a trick question. It's not.
That's all right. No, you're all right.
But bear with us a moment then, just while my colleague just checks your details. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Right, okay, so all has been verified.
Excellent.
All checks out, you have a driving licence, you are insured to drive this vehicle. Bear in mind what my colleague said about your speed, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Likewise.
That's the end of it.
Thank you.
Keep your speed down.
Interesting to meet you.
No more than 70 on there.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.